So I guess I like roguelites now. Granted, I have played like 2, meaning this game and Dead Cells, but wow. If you haven't heard about Deadlink, let me show you what it's all about. Deadlink just came out of early access last week, and I discovered its existence about 4 days prior to that. Deadlink is a cyberpunk-styled first-person shooter with roguelite elements. Now, there is a difference between roguelike and roguelite. If you're here, you probably already know the difference, and if so, timestamp. Go on. Great. Now that the nerds are gone, if you don't know the difference, here's what I can discern. Roguelike games completely reset you on death. You die, that run is gone. The only thing you take with you is what you learned and maybe a tiny bit more skill than before. Roguelite games have some sort of overall progression through weapon unlocks, abilities, or some other form of upgrades that persist through subsequent runs. We all caught up? Cool, let's continue. I was expecting something of a cross between Ultrakill combat and Cyberpunk weapons and environments. Instead, I got Doom Eternal combat and Cyberpunk everything else. I'm certainly not complaining. Time to dust off the old Doom Eternal brain waves and wait. What do you mean I can only have 2 weapons at a time? Why does the melee do so little damage? Why am I moving so slow? These are questions I asked myself for about 5 seconds before none of it mattered anymore, because I was hooked. And before you say anything, I know Doom Eternal melee was also very weak. I completed that game like 4 times. But I'm getting off track here. The gameplay and movement is eerily similar to Doom Eternal. You have a double jump and dash, which can later be upgraded to a double dash. Weapon swap skills come massively in handy too, as well as knowing when to use a certain weapon. Though, that thing about 2 weapons isn't a joke. You really do only have 2 at a time. They're also more or less class specific. That said, the guns more than make up for that with how well designed and dynamic they are. Not only do they have that beautiful punchy game feel I desire, but mechanically they are super intuitive. You always have 2 guns on you, sorted into your primary and secondary. The primary weapon is your single target main weapon. It has an infinite ammo reserve, but will need to be reloaded when it is empty. The secondary weapon is your high damage crowd control gun. It does not have infinite ammo, but will automatically reload itself upon gathering more. But how, I hear you ask. How do I get more ammo? Well, that's easy. Murder. Actually, not quite. Ammo is gathered from 3 sources. There are limited ammo drops on the ground in arenas. Also, breaking these objects, called constructor balls or C-balls, will give you ammo for your secondary weapon, and marked enemies will drop some ammo for both weapons on death. And don't worry, I hear you. I know I said the primary weapon has infinite ammo, so why would I need to collect ammo for it? Well, dear viewer, if you collect ammo for your primary, it negates the need to reload, allowing for more slaughter without pause. Also, let's backtrack a second. Marked enemies. This concept right here is the core of the combat gameplay loop. When you take damage, there are 2 sets of hit points, your shield and your health. Health does not regenerate on its own. The only way to gain it back is through med duct exits and shops. Shields, on the other hand, are collected through killing marked enemies. So, how do we mark enemies? This is done through the use of grenades and class abilities. Grenades are great for marking tight groups of enemies for a quick refresh on shields and ammo. The abilities are a case-by-case basis depending on your class, but long story short, you want to be using them as much as possible. It really turns into a bullet hell in some of these arenas, and it becomes unavoidable that you will take damage. The only solution is to heal faster than they can hit you. Deadlink has 4 distinct player classes, though I will only talk about 3 of them as I have not unlocked the 4th yet. The default, and in my opinion most powerful, class is
the Soldier. Armed with the Scrapper shotgun and Bone Grinder rocket launcher, you're set for any engagement, close or far. But watch that splash damage, you'll deplete your shields faster than you can say Corvo Rat. Also equipped with the state-of-the-art scrambler, useful for stunning and marking groups of foes like lambs to the slaughter. And finally, the Gripwire Repel. Grab onto your enemies and pull yourself close enough to smell their fear, just long enough to emancipate their head from their body.
Unlocking the Repel is what sold the game for me. It's like that neuron activation meme. If there's a grapple hook, I'm in. Easy as that. Also, the shotgun is so devastating and satisfying, I just can't get enough. The next class is unlocked when you complete 10 combat encounters.
The Hunter, designed for precision and stealth. The Hunter shell is equipped with the deadly Torah Peacekeeper and White Hot Arc Cannon to test your resolve and ability to land tricky headshots from meters away. Leave your enemies confused and stunned with the Switchback Translocator, while you turn their chest cavity inside out. And don't forget about the IFF decoy, perfect for when you miss every damn shot and need everyone to forget you exist while you reload.
Not recommended for people who can't aim, have zero reaction ability, and generally want to have a good time. Honestly, this is my least favorite class, not because it's bad, but because I am. I struggle with anything that requires fast thinking and high precision, so I prefer shotguns and higher fire rate weapons. Which brings me to the third class, unlocked at the end of level 2.
The Engineer. This 6'5" sexy hunger metal is outfitted with the fully automatic XM34 Gauss rifle and Tarball grenade launcher, ready to turn any opposition into Swiss cheese before promptly obliterating them from this plane with a manually triggered grenade. Not enough bullets? Lay down a Lawbringer sentry gun and leave those assholes nowhere to hide. Or maybe you want to torture these poor souls by locking up their cybernetics. The Wordless Bridge has got you covered. Annihilate your enemies in style.
The levels are pretty well designed too. The overall system is pretty standard roguelite as far as I'm aware. Medium to large arenas broken up by hallways that can contain shops or occasionally NPCs that can give you some extra power-ups. Each level consists of several of these arena sections with the boss in the last section. The arenas remind me heavily of Doom and Quake, with a lot of platforms and height variety with boosters and ammo littered around the place, so I feel right at home jumping and dashing around. Each level has a distinct theme and enemy set, which is roughly 5 to 6 enemy types. So far, no two enemy types feel the same, even the low-level fodder enemies have distinct attacks and weaknesses. Where are you, Adam Smasher? For the most part, the weak point is the head, but on some like the Rikishi, have a weak point elsewhere. Of course, these weak points take extra damage, so precision and quick thinking are rewarded. The level bosses are challenging and rewarding to fight. They change up movesets mid-fight based on their health level, and some frequently insult you, which I like. By the way, not to brag, but I beat the second boss on my first try against him. When you complete an arena section, in order to move on, 1 to 3 exit choices come up, each with a different random choice of a bonus. These range from extra experience points or credits to a special challenge boss that is way too hard for me to beat right now. Yep. Whew. Okay, this game's hard. I want to touch on all of the possible rewards that I have discovered so far, but there is a lot of them, so we're gonna go fast. Try to keep up. Implants. Choose from a couple different possible power-ups that you can place into an implant slot in your inventory. Credits. Money used during a run at shops. Shop. A place to purchase an extra implant, grenade upgrades, extra implant slots, or to top off health. Experience. Persistent upgrade points used in the Deadlink upgrades menu. Medtech. Heals a percentage of your health. Neural boost. Choose from 3 random options to increase stats such as max health or damage resistance. Shell upgrade. Get an extra power up for the player in the run. Weapon mod. Adds a buff or damage alteration to the primary weapon for the run, and these stack. Turing token. Premium upgrade point used a long experience in the Deadlink upgrades. Heavy weapon. Random choice to swap to another secondary weapon or possibly upgrade the currently equipped one. Challenge. Already mentioned, special mini-boss probably gives you something cool. There may be even more exit rewards, but those are all the ones I've discovered by this point. If I'm playing Soldier and the shell upgrade exit comes up, I nearly always take it because you can get the Cord Nanoconstructor upgrade. This upgrade resets the repel cooldown if the last enemy that was grappled is killed within a short window. This allows me to chain grapple kills, and since the repel marks enemies, it's just infinite free shields. Okay. I should probably talk about the implant system, because it's unique and very cool. As I said a minute ago, implants are randomly given to you throughout the run, but you have to pick your battles with them. The implants all have an active effect and a passive effect. The passive effect will always be on if the implant is slotted, but the active effect is a bit more tricky. By default, you start with 4 implant slots, each one connected to a specific action you take as the player. These actions are weapon swap, ability use, and C-ball break. Each action also has a power output level, which is required to be at or above the power level of an implant to use the active ability. The implants can be slotted into outlets with less power, but only the passive ability will work. This turns the implant system into a really damn cool jigsaw puzzle of which upgrade goes best in which slot. And you can freely and frequently move the implants around or deactivate them, so if you don't like the placement, no harm, no foul. All of these systems work in conjunction with the Deadlink upgrade system, available in the main menu. These are persistent permanent upgrades for the player that use experience and Turing tokens to upgrade. As you can see, there are a bunch of general upgrades that boost stats like damage output, hit points, one adds another dash, you get the idea. Then there are these class-specific upgrades that buff the abilities in various ways. To be honest, there's still a lot I haven't unlocked, and I'm excited to become more and more powerful as I continue running through the game. And what a gorgeous game it is. My formal introduction to the cyberpunk genre was 2077, so I'm kind of late to the party, but I've quickly grown to love this aesthetic, and my god does Deadlink nail it. The environments, enemies, weapons, they all feel so cohesive and truly like they exist together. Hell, you could put every gun here into Cyberpunk 2077 and it would make total sense to me. Plus, the music. From the main menu, which is what was used for the intro, to the combat, to everything. It's just, I don't even have words, it's just great. Same can be said for the story and lore. I'm not going to get into it too far because spoilers, you know? But essentially you're a veteran of some kind recruited to a private military company to be some kind of super assassin. At least that's what I gathered. The game itself is your character running simulation after simulation to train for the real deal, assisted by a few characters that I won't talk about any further because, seriously, you gotta just play this for yourself if you haven't. So yeah, I guess that's all I have for you today. The game is linked in the description, as well as the Discord server for the channel, where I guess we don't really do much right now. Also, if you enjoyed, make sure to check out some of my other videos. But anyway, I've talked long enough, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.